This is my fantasy dwarf army. This guy's facing the wrong way. For one-page rules. So it's about, I think I've filtered in about 250 to 300 points, generally speaking. I've got, obviously, a bunch of spearmen here. I've got a unmounted berserker. I've got a mounted berserker. I've got another hero class. I've got a few of these guys back here that are all crossbowmen. And then I've got these two that I have been using as my Iron Warriors. They're all from Artisan Guild, these sculpts. These are from an older pack, and then these ones are from a newer pack, so they're a bit more armoured, which was kind of more what I wanted for my dwarves. As you can see, they're all, they're all on like little bases I've done up with some snow and stuff on them. So nothing like crazy. This was the first army I really put together for one-page rules. And the Iron Warriors are the thing I've been trying to get into a lot more. With the current rule set of 3.0 for one-page rules, they have shielded, which means that they, can block. They get +1 to attacks. Their 3.5 gives all dwarves sturdy and takes away shielded from everyone, which is, in my opinion, just a worse version of shielded with more complicated rules, and it's not really worthwhile. But I still want to paint up I still want to put together and paint up some Iron Warriors, and I wanted to make them stand out more than just have these little guys here, because the in-game lore that I've created for my own little army is that I've got my my Shield Maiden Queen, and then I've got her Shield Maidens, or her Queen and then her Shield Maidens to protect her. So they've all got shields, they've all got runic weapons, which may all change in 3.5, but I don't care, so I'm going to paint them up. So I want to get that done, but that requires some sculpting. So let's get to that. So for the amount of points I want to do up 3 of them. Just so I can, because I've been playing at my local, where we're doing 300-point games, so you can play both Grimdark and Fantasy together in the same setting. So as long as I have 300 points of both, doesn't really matter. So this is more what I want. With the 3 of them done, I've printed off from another Artisan Guild set. So these are from the gnomes, these swords, which I just thought looked kind of cool. So I've sized them up so they'll fit a bit better in their hands. I think they might still be a little bit small, but you're not going to notice once everything's on them. And then I've also, done up their shields, just kept blue tack on them so I could, set up where I wanted everything to be. Which I think is the right size shield as well. Their bases for these guys, nothing really too complicated. They come with pre-done bases from Artisan Guild, which have these stones, and I've just done them with stone and a little bit of snow to show that they're protecting their winter keep in the mountains. And I'll put some little bit of extra rocky bits on there as well. Outside of that, I need to sculpt some capes. Originally, I wanted the capes to come all the way across the front and then over their shoulder and then sort of hook back in under this one. But you end up obscuring a lot of detail, especially with their hair being in the way. So I've decided instead I'm just going to try and pin it here on the top of this shoulder. So it'll still come over this shoulder plate and then come back in underneath here and leave this one unobscured, because I want to paint this iron to reflect the, Iron Warrior status. And I want to give them capes because I just want them to stand out on the battlefield, because they are quite a strong unit, which I'll get into a little bit later. But they are, I want them to stand out. So hopefully I can give them some cloaks that do them justice.
All done. So now we just gotta wait for them all to dry. Huzzah! Alright, so this is nice and hard. So now we're gonna add all the little bits and pieces to it to make it look, you know, like a cape instead of just something that's been dragged across it. Sometimes you just have to put a bigger piece on to fix up the rest of it and just mold it all into where you want it to go. Alright, so capes have been redone with the extra part. It's not the best. Obviously, I'm steadily getting better at doing capes, but mostly I just have to wait for it to dry and then go over it with a sanding tool to try make sure it's not as crappy looking. We'll see how that comes out in a little bit. I've just flattened these bits out so I can still fit the shield on. Yeah, got little buttons on the front. See how it goes. Got the zenith done. You can definitely see I didn't do a very good job on actually sanding this back. But it adds texture, we'll say that. And not that I was just too lazy and rushed it. See how it turns out once you put the paint on, I guess. Alright, so I liked it so much I actually just put it on their shields as well, which I think is really going to stand out on the field to match their shoulder pauldrons. I actually really like that as like a rough metal look, which is just, again, it's just those three pieces of the rough iron all the way over everything and then just stippling on heavy metal and then shining silver, and that comes out really nice. I think I kind of overdid it a little bit on this one. Should have kept it a little bit more into the top edges. I could probably go back with some heavy metal, but I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just going to leave it. It'll look all shiny on the field either way. Whoop! Their armor is super easy. Golden armor over everything, speed paint. And then a talus bronze wash to kind of dye it down to give it that reddishness to the armor. Really easy, because all I had when I first started painting these guys was speed paints. I kind of overdid the wash a little bit, as you can see. It got progressively better as it went on, but I was supposed to leave a little bit more of the gold showing, so it's a very different gold now compared like to this guy was the last guy I did. There's a little bit more showing, but yeah, I also think I probably used the wrong gold speed paint. I think this must have been hoplite gold because it's a bit goldier. So I'm just going to go back over with a quick stipple of bright gold in the highest places to hopefully get it to a point where the proper gold is showing through in the highest spots. I hope this works and doesn't just completely ruin it further. With that done, it seems to have come out mostly okay. It'll match on the field. Yeah, let's move on to this. Beowulf Blue and all their cloth. Alright, we've got all the blues done. You can tell it really hasn't come out very well. These capes were not very smooth at all. That's okay. I mean, like, when it's like all the way down here on the table, you're not going to be able to tell. Right? Maybe? I don't know. Learning lessons every single time I make something. It's good. Alright, so there's not much left to this. Just putting some grass on the base, black rims, and a little bit of snow, and these guys are done. But I just, like, I know it's not the best everywhere else, but these cloaks are really annoying me. Just the way that it's all resting and different, it looks like I've done a really dodgy job with the speed paint. And while some places, like up in here, I can see that that is the case, the rest of it's just because it wasn't sanded down properly, and so it's all rested in the wrong places, and it's just looks terrible. The only really way I can think to fix it is to just paint over the top of it. And I don't really want to do a blue because I've already got the blue in here, and I don't want to have two different kinds of blue on the same character. That'll look a bit odd. So I think I'm going to do a red, and I'm going to wash it up, and hopefully just keep the darkest blue in these spaces. So I'm going to have to use acrylics for that because I won't be able to use a speed paint for it. But hopefully I can do that and fix it, because the worst places are in the darkest spots. And if I kind of go, I don't know, see how it turns out. Because the only other option is I just, throw the models away. So try this first. Alright, that seems to have covered up a lot of it. You can still obviously see that there's, I haven't sanded these bits in here, but on the table, when you're looking at it from this far away, that looks a lot better, and I think the red works. It'll stand out amongst the blues. So yeah, I'm just going to do one more little highlight, just mixing the red with some ice yellow, and glaze it on. I think that should be enough for the whole model. And there we go. We've got my 3 Iron Warriors to fit in with the rest of my Dwarven army. I'm realising now that I probably could have done the bases on these 2 while I had all that extra snow out that I didn't end up using. Probably should have done them, because all it would have taken is a, quick speed paint and then slap some stuff on. So I'll do that after this, I think. But yeah, seeing as I've been upgrading to play 300-point armies, so that at my local we can play both Grimdark and Fantasy groups together, this works pretty well. They fit in. They fit in at least. The caves could have been better, and it's a learning experience that I need to learn how to sand it, or probably even just use some Vaseline or something on the sculpting tools, so it gets it a bit smoother while I'm doing the job. But otherwise, I think they fit in really well with my team. They stand out with the red cloaks, and they'll be available to protect my leader and probably my barbarian as well. Berserker, I think they're called. Yeah. So, I mean, that is until, of course, OPR change everything for 3.5, because I've already lost shielded on these guys from the looks of things. And they're moving towards sturdy, which I think is just a much worse skill
and shielded. Be cool if I got both. Like, that might actually make it worthwhile. Like, if you had shielded and sturdy on some characters, obviously that's very strong, but at least that might make people want to get closer to try and fight you, to get rid of sturdy, whereas just the +1 from sturdy is not really that big of a deal. Not with the amount of AP that's in the game anyways. Oh well. I finished them. That's my army. Now I gotta go put some more snow on people. So, yeah.